Right, so over the weekend, a lot of royal news coming out. Details have emerged that the late Queen was not impressed by Prince Harry and Meghan calling their daughter Lilibet.
Yeah, and indeed claiming that she had given them her blessing for it. One aide said it was the angriest they had ever seen the late Queen.
Gosh, well, let's bring in a man who I've never seen angry, Michael Cole, but I'm just wondering, is he a bit enraged by this? This is, what's the source for this, and what credence do you give this story, Michael?
Good morning, Eamon. Good morning, Isabel. I think this is another one of those cases where recollections may vary. I think it's worth saying that Lilibet was a nickname used strictly within the family for the Queen, because as a child she was unable to say her own name, Elizabeth, and it came out as Lilibet. And that was used by her parents and her sister, Margaret, and later by her husband, Prince Philip. But it was strictly within the family. Now, what Prince Harry says is that he and his wife, Meghan, decided that their daughter should be called Lilibet. And then he, Prince Harry, in a phone call, spoke to the Queen about this. When the BBC suggested strongly, stated in fact, that royal permission or approval had not been given, Prince Harry then threatened libel action against the BBC, which never went any further. And when Prince Harry called upon the Buckingham Palace to back up his story that he had indeed received royal approval of this new name, Buckingham Palace was strangely silent about it. They didn't back him up, which spoke volumes. And it is interesting that we, a year ago, were all talking about Spare, the Prince's ghost-written autobiography. And in that book, which deals with lots of things, he doesn't find any space to talk about this rather controversial naming of his child. I must say, and you did very kindly ask what my personal opinion, whether I was angry about it. I mean, I thought at the time it was a bit naff, to be honest with you. I didn't think it was the right thing. I think also it's very important when you're giving a child a name that it should be a proper name. At one time, any self-respecting priest or minister would refuse to name a child unless it was a proper recognized from the Bible or from an official source name. And Lilibet is a nickname. It is not a recognized name. So I thought, although I didn't say so out loud because you want to be kind about newly-born babies, that they were perhaps burdening them, their new baby daughter, with something that she didn't need. Why not? If they wanted to pay tribute to Her Majesty the Queen, use the name Elizabeth. It has many, many variations as nicknames, from Betty to Bessie to goodness knows what, probably almost as many variations as the name Catherine. But Lilibet was something private to the royal family, and maybe it should have been kept there.
We have to ask you, speaking of royal family, a new reign has begun for cousins, I suppose you could say, removed of our own royal family over in Denmark. And you know, this is a historic moment.
Great day for the Danes yesterday. Rejoicing, unconstrained, but in a very nice pomp and pageantry, but in a nice restrained Danish way. And so we now have King Frederick X. That's Fred X, I suppose, which I suppose is better than FedEx. But there he is with his lovely family and his queen, Australian-born of Scottish heritage, in the square in front of the Christiansborg Palace. Yes, as you say, the connections are very, very strong because King Charles's father, Prince Philip, he was Prince of Greece and also Prince of Denmark. And the king, King Charles III's great-great-grandmother was Queen Alexandra of Denmark, who remained very, very patriotic about her Danish heritage throughout her life. She knew everything about Schleswig-Holstein, the two provinces of Denmark which were captured and usurped and taken by Prussia in the 19th century. Beautiful ceremony yesterday. very low key. And what was wonderful about it, on the balcony scene there, you could see how emotional the king was, wiping away a tear. And quite clearly, when he appeared, there's Queen Margareta II, after 52 years on the throne, leaving with the gratitude of the people there, hugely popular in the country, adored actually, and the Prime Minister, who did not start off as a monarchist, in fact, was not a monarchist in any way whatsoever, Mette Frederiksen. She was warm to the idea of the monarchy as she worked with Margareta II, who was a very wonderful person. I had the privilege of meeting her on one occasion, and she was very amusing. There she is, announcing on New Year's Eve that she was stepping down. She was 83 and she'd had back problems, but she's not going away, because when King Frederick the 10th is out of the country, she will be a regent. That was her late husband, Henri, who was a French diplomat. And the Queen told me a wonderful story. When I was the Director of Public Affairs at Harrods, we had a Danish promotion and she came to open it. And I had to meet her. And I had to say to her the first thing, to a reigning queen, I said, "I'm sorry, Your Majesty, you may not smoke within the store," because she was a chain smoker. And she said to me, "Don't worry about that." She said, "I know all about that." She said, "I owe everything to Harrods." So I said, "Well, do tell me how that is true." So she said, "When I was at Cambridge studying archaeology," she said, "I would get on the train to King's Cross, completely incognito, without a detective. Nobody recognized me. And I'd get on the Piccadilly line to Knightsbridge, and I would meet Henri, who was a French diplomat at the nearby embassy, and we would meet in the Harrods banking hall. That was our rendezvous. That was our secret meeting place. And then he was my boyfriend. Then he became my fiancé. Then we married, and he changed his name to Henrique, and he became a Danish citizen. And of course, they had their two sons, one of whom became king, King Frederick the 10th yesterday. So London is certainly figured very strongly in the king's life. During the Olympics in London of 2012, he actually carried the Olympic torch through Notting Hill, the new king. So, yes, he did.
The things you learn, Michael. And the role of Harrods in so many royal stories. And we have to leave it there. Michael Cole, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. A joy listening to you,
Always.
Michael. Thank you very much indeed.